Yo guys, this is Reinhardt and this video is going to be about dueling Decay versus Rogue, and not just any Rogue, the actual Requiem Rogue. He's on my server. He's a 2x rank 1, 8x Gladiator Rogue. So this is gonna be me dueling him, and I hope he's not gonna kick me from the guild after I release this video. But before actually getting in the duel, I wanna guys tell you something. Something that one person asked me to support his cause, and I 100% support him. There's a guy, his name is Alex. He's my friend, and he got me in touch with the Russian community, and he actually helped me out a lot in terms of growing with the Russian community. His best friend's mother passed away recently, and the kid is at the verge of actually losing the house. And Alex wondered if I could actually feature the story and put out the actual link in terms of in my description for whoever is interested to help out the kid, because the down payments and the payments for the house has to be made. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna put all the information and everything that happens. The very first thing I want to say is I'm really sorry to hear that happened to you, man, and I hope you're gonna keep it strong. I really sorry to hear that, and I think it's one of the worst possible feelings in this world when you see something that is very close and dear to you is passing away, and there's absolutely nothing you can do. It's the worst feeling of helplessness. So I'm right there with you, man, and I'm really hope you stay strong, and best of wishes. Now let's get into the duel, and let's try to weed out some doom and gloom. I'm sorry about that, guys, but I think we need to actually help the guy out. The core dueling mechanics of the rogues were actually changed considerably in Mr. Pandaria compared to Cataclysm because of a couple main abilities. Rogues got really good nifty skill, and it's called Shuriken Toss. It does a lot of damage at the range distance, and it's completely spawnable, so therefore Rogues actually doing a lot of damage from the ranged attacks. So we basically had a huge shift in roles where the hunter became the hunted, my friends. Rogues started actually killing the decays with the Shuriken Toss because of its high damage capability. But don't get despair, because there's a few ways to counter the Shuriken Toss in killing rogues. The very first one, and the main one, is if you look at the Shuriken Toss tooltip, what do you see exactly here? That it does damage, but it does double damage only when it's 10 yards plus, and a lot of people are forgetting this when they're actually fighting against a rogue Shuriken Toss spamming, because if you're gonna be sending below 10 yards range, then you're gonna actually take a lot less physical damage. Noting what I'm saying here, physical damage. So let's make it clear. Kiting the rogue on a 10 yards plus range without AMS and conversion up is a bad thing. You will die. Fighting the rogue or keeping the rogue maybe at distance from yourself and from his stance, but at between 0 to 10 yards range with the conversion and AMS up is very good. You will actually out-heal his Shuriken Toss then. So let's talk what the actual rogue can do to counter decays. First of all, Cloak of Shadows. Cloak of Shadows clears the disease of the rogue, and also in addition to that, they become immune to any spells whatsoever. Good rogues open up with a garrote, which is a silence effect on decay, in enabling us to cast any spells at all whatsoever. A good sneaky disarm that is also on the preparation will also make sure that you won't be able to attack the rogue when his kidney shot and his stuns are on either diminishing returns or on cooldowns. Smoke Bomb is one of the most amazing cooldowns against the decay if the rogue has a range against them, because they can spam a Shuriken Toss in that thing and your gargoyle or your spells won't hit the rogue at the same time. Last but not least, but probably one of the most irritating of them all, is actual Vanish, is to be able to slip into the shadows, gain stealth, and have a completely different reopener on the decay. In terms of talents, Rogues got one of the most amazing opener talents at all whatsoever, and it's called Subterfuge. What it basically does is that it lets the rogues break the stealth 3 seconds after they open on a target, so they can actually effectively have a full garrote on their almost full garrote on the decay, followed up by a full chip shot before they actually start dancing. Last but not least, there's also a paralytic poison that we have to deal with. Basically what it does, it stuns the target on undiminishing returns every every 5 stacks, and it's actually very RNG like, but it's really effective when they actually get a full paralytic poison stun on you after you maybe trinket their kidney shot. So what can DK do to actually counter the rogue? Let's first of all go through over the talent. The first one you want to pick is Unholy Blight, because it's one of the best probably dueling talents in the game for DKs. You have to go with Asphyxiate, because the rogue is gonna trinket the first Asphyxiate, but the second Asphyxiate will kill them. Lichborn and Conversion, but the way you have to use it is you have to use a Lichborn when you have a runic power after their dance, because you will need that high burst recovery, and then for the rest of the fight you can easily use Conversion. Use a Blood Tap of course, and then Desecrate Ground. Desecrate Ground, you can use it, it's sort of like RNG wise, use your common sense. Sometimes you can actually use a Desecrate Ground on the opener to not allow rogue to rack up a lot of damage on you in the process. And for the glyphs, I would prefer Glyph of Anti-Magic Shell, because you need as much runic power as you possibly humanly can get. Glyph of Dust and Decay is also a really nice glyph, and to wrap it up, I would say Glyph of either Recieve Frenzy or Unholy Frenzy. Probably Unholy Frenzy being the best dueling glyph there is for DKs. When it comes to spell usage, when the rogue pops evasion, make sure you're utilizing your blood balls and your death strikes and your coils, because they're gonna go through evasion like a knife goes through the butter. If the rogue pops the Cloak of Shadows, then your Asphyxiate, Pet Lip, Pet Charge, Pet Stun will go over through rogue's Cloak of Shadows. But the best thing you can do when the rogue cloaks is actually use the Plague Strike, and the Plague can apply both diseases and will prevent really strong rogue's reopener once he vanishes out of the Cloak of Shadows. But anyway, enough with all this nerd analyzing shit, and let's actually look at the actual duels. And let me do a couple commentaries, and then I'll just put a music in there as well. Rogue's reopener, but this time, because you're running 68, sometimes you just would not want your pet to stun. The only time you would actually want your pet to stun the rogue if he does way too much damage in the opener, but if you can actually survive it, go ahead and do it. I popped up with a freaking Desecrate Ground right at the start, and I asphyxiated him full. Now take a look at this. I'm popping my activating Trinket, I'm activating MS so I can actually kite him, and he pops Smoke Bomb at the same time. And I used the Lichborn with all my offensive procs for one main particular reason, is because I actually needed that Lichborn heal, and I needed urgently, and it was able to merely tap me off. After this, I'm still running in the Blood Presence. I have 2 pets going on him. The rogue already cloaked the shadows, so he cannot cloak the shadows anymore, and he vanishes and reopens on me at the same time. I'm IBFing here, and he puts a garrote on me. Luckily, I can actually use my conversion during the garrote. Rogue is trying to stun me, but I have Asphyxiate that came off all global cooldown. I'm putting a full Soul Reaper on the rogue, and he goes down like a freaking cracker. He's actually very good duel, and you guys seen there's a lot of stuff happened. Both of us popped a lot of cooldowns here as well. In this duel, I'm gonna still position my pet right behind me, because it is needed. Sometimes the clutch pet stun always wins the game for you, but most of the time try to use a pet stun when he cloaks the shadows, even if it's gonna be DR, because you will need to get that Plague Strike off. So the first thing, he popped actual silence on me, and I turned around and I put a Plague Strike on him. I got enough running power to use my IBF, and I IBF'd out of his stuns. I asphyxiated him, he trinketed, I popped a gargoyle on him, and I'm wrecking as much damage as I humanly possibly can. And rogue right now is gonna be doing a pretty good amount of damage. He's trying to kite me with recuperate up, so I'm gonna popping AMS here, and also I want to prevent those poison damage on me, so my conversion can pick me up relatively well, because my Lichborn is already on cooldown. Rogue vanishes again through the preparation, and he's trying to kite me here as well. Now look at his position. He's gonna position a little bit away from me, so he could start actually putting those nasty, absolutely nasty shuriken tosses. But I had Asphyxiate up ready, so I put Asphyxiate on him, put a Soul Reaper on him, and the Soul Reaper finishes him off, and Asphyxiate kind of protected the Soul Reaper application as well there. In this duel, we're gonna fighting again. He's gonna have a very strong opener on me, and again, you see me sitting in the Blood Presence because that's what we need to do. We were sitting in the Blood Presence in Cataclysm, we will be sitting in the Blood Presence against the rogues in Mist of Pandaria as well, because we will need all the survivability and all the armor we can get from the rogues, because their openers are scary. Extremely scary. So I popped my Destined Decay here, hopefully that I could get him out of stealth. Of course that failed, so I'm running around like that trying to Blood Bowl, but it's gonna be pointless because a good rogue won't get out of stealth and he will actually get a good sap on you. So I just decided, okay, well, guess what, I got into acceptance mode. I said screw it, let me just stand here and wait when the rogue decides to have his way with me with my ass, basically. So at this point in time, he opens up with a chip shot and he starts dancing, and by the time the chip shot is over, I'm down to 50% HP with a full resilience stacking decay. Also at the same time, I'm trying to kite here. I'm using my activate trinket, I'm using my proc trinket, and I'm using both of those at the same time to get us some Lichborn heals out of myself. And Requiem popped offensively his evasion here, and he triggered my asphyxiate. So this is actually going to be a time for me to go offensive and let the actually table turn the sides. But here's what I want to have accent is, did you notice that I use a Lichborn before conversion? That's what you need to do. And this time I'm putting conversion, I'm putting Soul Reaper, the damage sinks in, he has a 1 necrotic to not allow him to get a healed off, and actually Soul Reaper does the job. The basic thing about the rogue is, if you can survive their opener, they will trinket your first asphyxiate. The second asphyxiate should be able to be basically a killing blow dealer for yourself. And this is another duel, but it's gonna be on a Greenpeace freaking scenery. You guys like the grass and shit? Well, there's the grass here right now. Well, basically we're gonna be fighting. And by the way, I just want to say one thing is, I didn't win all the duels. I believe Requiem won 2 duels out of the entire time I dueled him. I didn't record a few ones, so it was a really good duels. I really had much fun with it. Please don't kick me off the guild. No, not that I really care, but I like my guild so far. So anyway, at this point in time, I actually got in combat by mistake through killing a critter that was just walking in that freaking grass. Now I wish there would be like some freaking grasshoppers in the arena as well, so you can get in the combat by just spamming AoE. So he saps my pet, he chip shot garrotes me, and I'm asphyxiating him for a full duration. This one he does not shrink it, and he lets me actually to rack up and build up on damage. He passed his combat readiness though, and he is using the paralytic poison here, and the stacks go actually up on me relatively fast. So I decided to MS here so I can prevent that. I pet stunned him in the middle of his Cloak of Shadows, and I got that amazing lovable Plague Strike out. So this time he actually decided to dance inside of the bomb for me, and he's about to get reopened. So I try to get a use of Lichborn and heal myself, but you see I'm actually at a very low HP here, and this was the reason why, because I used the conversion prior to Lichborn, and I should be doing the opposite, because he actually penalized me for that once. But the thing is the Soul Reaper actually finished him during his Vanish reopener on me, and I was sitting at 80k HP. If I hadn't applied that Soul Reaper, by the way, he would have won the duel, because for Rogue to take 80k of your HP when he opens up on you is nothing. I also want to give a huge props to actually Requiem for actually being a man up rogue and not be one of those pansy ass rogues that just vanish, sit there in the stealth for 2 or 3 minutes, let themselves get tapped off, and then reopen you again. And after that saying, oh well, look at me, we just evened up the duel, or I won the duel because I reset the fight multiple times and I killed myself to full and waited for all the cooldowns. No, that is not the manly way of dueling. What the Requiem does is a good way of dueling. Props to you, man. And by the way, this is not the Requiem YouTuber, this is the actual different Requiem at all whatsoever. So anyway, this was actually fun duels. I had a lot of fun. It was awesome. One thing I'm gonna say about the Shuriken Toss, again, make sure you guys recognizing that Shuriken Tossing Rogue is deadly for Unholy Decay. He will do more range damage than you will ever will. So if you're not trying to get a melee range, if you're not trying to kite him in between 0 to 10 yards, if you're not AMSing and converting your healths, he will win the duel by simply kiting you. So do not let them do that. Anyway guys, thanks everybody for watching this video, and до свидания, my friends.